Hi, I'm Alex McCord, and welcome to The Real Deal on TheStir.com. Today we have episode 8 of the FYI Network's Married at First Sight, as well as part 1 of the season 9 Real Housewives of Orange County reunion special. Oh boy. First, let's talk Orange County. Right, here are my thoughts. You can go one of two ways with Heather Dubrow's new haircut. She might have planned to cut it in the dressing room so that she would immediately pull focus once on the reunion couch. That's what I would do if I wanted to cut my hair, and that's actually what Ramona Singer did with the premiere of season 3 of The Real Housewives of New York City. Or it could have been a whim. Either way, Heather's giving me Theta Bara, don't you think? Next, Lizzie Robzak. So there are trickles all over the place that Lizzie is apparently this conniving gal whispering about everything behind the scenes. But I have to tell you, I'm not seeing it. Not on screen. Sometimes there are housewives who give fabulous dirt and information off camera but never really resonate on camera, and Lizzie might be one of those. Probably only the producers know whether that is enough to buy her another season. There was a lot of apologizing, finger-pointing, and men beating their chests between Heather and Terry and Shannon and David. It all seemed to end in typical reunion fashion, where they can agree enough to come back for a further season. Now, I would like to clear something up with viewers. All season, I have seen your comments asking, what have I got against Shannon and David? Why am I down on the Bedores? Why don't I like them? So, let me address that. My first impression of Shannon was not favorable, and it had to do with how she was presented. Now, I know that could be editing. I hated the way she treated her husband horribly, with no respect, and seemed to place an unhealthy obsession on things I felt were silly and pretentious, like cotillion. Now, I do know from experience that it's very easy to make normal people look ridiculous on reality TV in the final edit, because that happened to me. So I'm willing to let all that slide. My other problem has been the whispering behind the scenes. According to my sources, much of what Shannon did this season was calculated to make a reality television splash. Shannon was apparently very upfront about trying to make a good show, including debriefing with the cast about potential storylines, asking them for approval of her actions on camera, etc. For example, apparently she was really excited about showing the trouble in her marriage, which is awful. She went so far as to mention that the episode where Tamra told Simon Barney she wanted a divorce was the highest rated of the franchise. Now, she's actually wrong about that. It was Tamra throwing a glass of wine at Gina in season 6. But it goes to show that Shannon did a lot of research prior to joining the cast, including looking up her castmates as well. On the one hand, that's really smart. It reminds me of Bethany Frankel from New York. Go in with a plan and execute it with no mercy. On the other hand, Shannon made a big mistake. What? She said what she was doing. The reason Bethany did so well is she kept her plan to herself. But Shannon told everybody. So advice to future housewives, definitely do make a plan, but definitely don't tell all your castmates about it, because you alienate them. That causes them to treat you differently both on and off camera, which in turn screws up the plan. Finally, let's talk Tamra. I have always felt that whenever people completely lose it and scream and swear on whatever they hold most dear that they're telling the truth, they're usually lying. Whether that gets her fired or hired for next season, who knows? What do you think? Next, let's get away from the dark and the toxic and onto my favorite social experiment of the moment, Married at First Sight. Last night saw episode 8, Conflict and Resolution. Okay, first of all, I have to give a shout out to the production company. At each commercial break, when the logo appears, there's a little splat sound effect when the heart appears above the couples. Given the tension between everyone this week, that splat was particularly appropriate. Anyway, let's go down the list of couples. First, Monet and Vaughn. Remember the honeymoon? We all thought we missed something crucial because all of a sudden Vaughn was unhappy with no discernible reason any of us could see. See, I first blamed that on editing. Unless you film 24/7, the crew are bound to miss things, and this is not docu-soap where you would typically reenact what was missed for the cameras at a later date, or film a bridging scene where you sit down with a friend and tell them, and the viewers, what happened. So far in this series, I have not noticed any obvious do-overs or bridging scenes, so I just thought we've been missing loads of Monet and Vaughn stress. Until last night. I had whiplash. We see Vaughn pick Monet up after surgery. We see them getting along and turning a corner. We see Monet hanging out with Vaughn's mother, Roxanne, and you know the best way to get a read on your man is to hang out with his mom. All is seemingly well. And then Vaughn says he's being civil. Monet is absolutely right to say that civil is not good enough. Civil is what you might get to after some huge upheaval in a long-term relationship, like cheating, disease, bankruptcy, or criminal charges. Civil is not where you want to be 4 weeks into a marriage. Dr. Salona suggests the two write letters of apology to each other, but Monet's not sorry for anything. Ultimately, I'm thinking that these two are too set in their ways to be married to anyone, let alone each other. There's too much I, me, and there's no I in team. I found myself wondering whether the only hope for Monet and Vaughn might be to go their separate ways after the end of the experiment and see whether they miss each other, and perhaps grow together off camera with less pressure. Who knows? Next, let's visit Courtney and Jason. These two are so sweet. You know, it's easy to say they're so young they should take a breath and calm down. And then again, I was Courtney's age when I got married. 26 is not that young. The big dilemmas for these two are meeting Jason's mother and the big what if about Jason's career. Will their marriage fall apart once he goes to the fire academy and is never available? Let's take these one at a time. The mom situation is probably twofold. I'm sure that Jason is telling the truth that he doesn't want Courtney meeting her until he's sure the relationship is going to stick. However, you also have to look at it from a TV perspective. His mother is sick with stage 4 cancer, and stage 4 cancer, no matter where it is, does not look good on anybody. I would be willing to bet just about anything that his mother does not want to be on camera. Putting it coldly and clinically, if she heals, she will not want a visual reminder of this time in her life, and if it goes the other way, she wouldn't want this being her legacy. Regarding the fire academy, there's nothing to do but take it day by day. I think Jason and Courtney have a great shot at life together, but let's see what happens over the next 2 episodes. Finally, I saved the hairiest situation for last, Jamie and Doug. OMG, the big betrayal. Okay, for those of you who don't know what I'm on about, Doug snuck a cigarette and lied about it. It comes out that he planned to quit smoking for the experiment, but has been having a few on the down low and not telling Jamie. Jamie says over and over that it's not about the cigarettes, it's about the lying. I say you cannot separate the two. Doug is an addict, plain and simple. Addictions are nasty, gnarly viruses that get into your body and your brain chemistry and never go away. Addicts lie to protect their addiction. They do. While not excusing Doug for his behavior, I found myself wishing that Jamie could realize that lying to protect an addiction is a different lie than one about cheating or work or money. Also, you cannot discount the role of reality television here, and I speak from experience. Whether it is docusoap, 24/7 Big Brother style filming, or this type of televised social experiment, shooting a reality show is a stressful situation unlike any other in life. I would never, ever advise anybody to quit smoking while shooting a reality show. It's a recipe for disaster, not to mention that this particular show involves lots of introspection and laying your soul bare, which can stress you out and make you want a cigarette. Next, you could say, hang on, hypocrite, didn't your husband quit smoking on the Housewives? Well, let me tell you how that went down. The producers asked Simon, hey, want to quit smoking? Ever tried hypnotherapy? We'll pay for it. How about it? Yeah. Anyone who has ever quit smoking has to know that the smoker has to A, want to quit, and B, control the timing and the method of the quitting. Now, whether you're on or off camera as a spouse, you cannot nag your partner to quit. That doesn't help. It just causes stress. Now, I'm not saying Jamie should not have been angry about Doug lying to her. She should have been. However, a little perspective would help. Given the nature of the lie, it does not make him automatically a bad guy like the men in her past or her family. I was very happy to see that with Dr. Salona's help, they agreed to start over. Now, I have been avoiding making the call as to who lasts and who leaves, but I've seen your tweets and comments asking me who I think will stay together. So my gut as of today, right now, is telling me that Jason and Courtney and Jamie and Doug will choose stay married, and Monet and Vaughn will choose get divorced when asked in episode 10. However, regardless of their choice, everything will change after the cameras go away. The cameras and the support system are a security blanket. That kind of reminds me of VH1's couples therapy. While in the 24/7 house, we had 24/7 therapist access in shifts. Every single feeling we had, good or bad, was game for a session. And anytime we felt conflicted about anything, we had support. Then you go back into the real world, and those support systems are gone. Now, yes, you can reach out to the therapist, but they're no longer living in the same house with you. Also, you have the additional experience of watching your process on TV and the viewer's reaction. Simon and I found that watching the finished couples therapy episodes was a new round 2 of therapy, and I'd imagine that our Married at First Sight couples feel the same. For that reason, I wouldn't write Monet and Vaughn off yet. I'd be very interested to hear their reactions to seeing themselves go through this. If any series is screaming for a reunion special, it is this. So get on it, FYI. Commission a reunion. Let me know what you thought in the comments. For now, I'm Alex McCord. You are watching The Real Deal on thestir.com. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, and I'll see you tomorrow.